everyone, I know you guys want me to do the Pokemon one. It's going to take time. I need like a day to do it. If I didn't have work constantly that could call me at any point, it would be a lot easier, I know. But yeah. So, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I originally saw the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers through, well, the VHS movie. I, at the time, was obviously not alive when the original Mighty Morphin became a thing, so...
I've seen the original VHS movie.
I
I
like
caught
it.
some In Space when I was a kid, but I mostly just caught the occasional Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm up until Peak premiered with SPD.
When I was a kid, I watched, let me see. I wouldn't say Peak was SPD. That's, that unfortunately belongs to Lightspeed Rescue and Time Force.
Okay, now the real question is, why in the fuck did he use turtle cards for his...
I don't know, but it's funny, because turtle cards are dumb and silly.
Spoken by someone who doesn't know how banned most of these are.
Most of these cards are not banned.
Spoken like someone who doesn't even know what Death Frog is.
I know what Death Frog is, and guess what? He's not a turtle, so your argument is invalid.
Regardless, the Super Quants exist. Fuck,
Yeah.
they're getting new support. They just got their evil 6th Ranger.
Really? What? Let me look this up.
Super Quant Black.
Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh! Super... That's not a Q. Black. I misspelled black. Let me look at this man. Oh yeah, he looks evil. He kind of looks like a Kamen Rider. At least to me, but he still looks really cool. He seems to be more of a dragon. Maybe he's a pterodactyl? What is he? Also, he has an evil version of his Alpha 5.
Yep. Anyway, back to the video.
Anyway, back to the thing. On to another note. Yeah, for those who don't know, I love Lightspeed Rescue, and I really, really want to get their Megazords again. Well, not just Lightspeed Rescue, but also, Time Force just a little bit. I like those both
Like
a lot.
150, 180 per Megazord.
I know. I just want the original one, though. Or the Super Train Zord. But anyway, on that note, Super Mega
Really, I
Train
expect
Zord.
you to want the Solar Zord.
That's not as much to me overall. But on that other note, I just want to say, please go support Bumble McFumbles. He deserves it for all the crazy stuff and funny stuff he puts in his videos. On another note, what else was I going to say? Besides my usual Transformer stuff, I like the movie. I think Ivan Ooze is really funny. And, yeah, Lightspeed Rescue was a lot of fun. And so was Dino Thunder. Even though Met is wrong about... Let me put it this way, we did a Megazord tier list. He put it at the bottom for Dino Thunder. Everyone in the comments...
What the hell are you on about?
What? You put it really
Pulling
low.
up the damn tier list.
You're pulling up the damn tier list? Alright, fine. I remember you guys putting it really low, and I was so confused. Anyway.
Dude, you're the only reason the movie Ninja Falcon Zord is an F.
I don't remember that.
You are the only one who was pulling for that CG abomination.
Well, yeah, because of nostalgia. I even said that so much. That I'm doing it as I have a bias because of nostalgia.
I'm pulling up the damn tier list.
Why are you pulling it up now? We're just about to start the video.
Because I need to be right.
Okay, prepare to be wrong!
Top of C, what the fuck are you on about?
I know that you guys were pushing hard against it. Anyway. I'm still right about this, that they just hated the design. They hated Peak everyone. And that's why he loses.
Incorrect, we put Lightspeed at the top. Anyway, let's go.
Well, yeah, we put Lightspeed at the top because I forced it.
Okay, do this again, but with the Power Rangers.
What?
Okay, do this again, but with the Power Rangers.
I don't get it.
All right, now put Makoto in Street Fighter 6.
So how does
It's
this
something he
work?
said
What?
at the end of his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video.
Oh.
There we fucking go.
Yeah, of course he's gonna put Super Quad there. Oh, he was trying to he made a prediction, and apparently he he was doing another time thing where apparently everyone but Makoto was in Street Fighter 6. That's great.
They put Remy in 6? Holy shit. I
Apparently,
need to play this game.
I don't play fighting games, as you guys know. I'm not good at them whatsoever. Except for, like, Soul Calibur. I'll play the hell out of Soul Calibur.
Anyway.
Yeah, Super Quants.
Welcome to Power Rangers Jungle Fury.
Wrong.
Welcome to Hayam Saban presents Power Rangers Jungle Fury.
Oh,
I'm not
God.
even going to be talking about it. I just needed a name. Do you have any idea how long I wanted to talk about the Power Rangers?
How long?
And how much longer I spent trying to figure out how I would actually do that? You say you want to talk about the Power Rangers, you might as well say, I want to talk about rocks. Just in general, do you have one you want to talk about especially?
Yes!
Do you want to talk about the sixth rock that always shows up and kicks way more ass
I mean,
than
I prefer
every
the
other
dog
stupid
rock
rock
myself.
put together? I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I?
He kicks way more ass.
Nobody loves talking about irrelevant bullshit.
He's still the sixth one that comes in.
Technically, yes.
More than I do, but covering any one of the Power Rangers series takes hours.
Yeah, we spent 4
Make
minutes
like a
covering
Hasbro
our
and
like of the Power
kinda
Rangers.
Just focus on Mighty Morphin here. Power Rangers was created by Hayam Saban.
Yeah.
Pranked. To really start the story of the Rangers,
Yep.
you have to go all the way back to 1975 in Japan, during the Henshin boom of tokusatsu.
Metal
Tokusatsu
Heroes.
is the Japanese word meaning special filming, which
Really?
refers to the genre of movies and TV shows that use heavy practical and special effects.
I did not know that's what it
series
means.
that you're definitely familiar with include Godzilla,
Godzilla,
Kamen Rider,
Dr. Pepper.
and Ultraman.
Wait.
And I'll take loads
Wait,
of inspiration-
Godzilla is a tokusatsu series?
Did you think the suits were fucking...
No, I just didn't know that's what it meant. I thought it was different from a kaiju movie. That tokusatsu was different than a kaiju movie.
No, it's more or less the same filming effects are used for Godzilla.
I guess
Higher
I
budget
didn't
ones.
know. I didn't know Godzilla counted as one. I'll be
and
honest from there.
techniques from traditional Japanese kabuki theater. Extravagant
Really?
costumes and effects are sold by performers.
That's actually a
using
pretty good suit.
extremely exaggerated motions. to
True.
Oh yeah, the Metal
convey
Heroes
what
rule.
might be hard
There's
to
a reason they
showcase
brought him
without
over
an emotive
twice.
face. That brings us to the very first entry
Shame
in
it's
what
dead.
would become the Super Sentai series, Himitsu Sentai Goranger.
Oh, this one.
What set Goranger apart from its
Go Ranger.
contemporaries
They
like
had a hot air
Kamen
balloon.
Rider was that instead of being a solo masked fighter battling the forces of evil,
A
Goranger
colored team
would have
with a
an entire
theme.
team of color-coded heroes who all had their own unique weapons. The two franchises share loads of DNA, but
And they sometimes
brothers
cross
often
over.
do. Yeah, Shotaro Ishino
Like, they cross over all the time. Usually on
You
specials.
got Ace running around and goes Yuger. It's great.
Well, then that's a thing. But yeah, that happens all the
He's
time.
going by Gozu Polar now. I don't know what's up with that.
Oh my god, that is not Ace, and you know that.
It is literally the same suit actor.
It's the same suit actor, but it's not the same actor. Don't
Move
try to
on.
pull that stuff on me. You're wrong, and you know it. Admit it.
No.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to write on this page, I'm going to put on this thing, saying, I'm going to put a dunce cap on him. And it reminds me to put a dunce cap on him. Or it's just going to say wrong, oh. Every time you're
I'm
wrong,
gonna
you're
go
going to stream.
commit voter fraud to make sure you make a body pillow.
Oh my god.
Mori decided that if he could do it once, he could do it again, and created the concepts for both Kamen Rider and Super Sentai.
On another
Not
note,
exact-
I'm sorry, I'm pausing real quick here. I just wanted to add that we need to watch the video on the trope of team, color code team with a theme.
Actually difficult to ask, what if there were 5 Kamen Riders?
Yeah.
The series would wrap up after 84 episodes in 1977, and just like its older brother Kamen Rider, found that a show ending was not a reason to stop working.
Of course.
So Himitsu Sentai Goranger gave way to Jacker Dengeki Tai,
Oh.
which after 35 episodes became Battle Fever J. This would initiate
Yep.
the hellish cycle of samsara that the Samyata Nikaya was warning us about.
What?
With each show being rebooted into a
heard 'em.
new one once its season was over. Did they all take place in the same world? When there was a crossover,
It's
yes. Otherwise, no. One thing missing from these early
Yeah.
entries into the franchise, like Goranger
Oh my
and
God, they brought back
Dengekitai, was the
Goranger
giant
6.
robots the Rangers would pilot. Because
Yeah.
those wouldn't become part of the franchise until 1987,
Really?
Spider-Man. To
Oh,
make a long
yeah.
story short, Toei struck a deal with Marvel back in the 70s.
So he
the
really
two
did shape
companies could produce-
Tokusatsu in a way. That's crazy. I always
Oh
thought
yeah,
it was
Spider-Man is one of those beloved old series.
I'm surprised Spider-Man didn't randomly show up in a Tokusatsu series or have one in Japan. Or have a
projects
manga
based
of
on
one.
each other's works. Toei took Spider-Man, made him scuttle, sent him to hell, and gave him a giant leopard robot.
Why a
Not
leopard?
spider, leopard.
It's
the spider's
not.
natural ally. Spider-Man was
What?
the first Tokusatsu series
called
that saw a
Leopardon.
Kamen Rider like
it's
hero
not leopard
piloting a
thing.
giant mech.
as far as I'm aware.
If it's a Leoplerodon, why is it a...
It's just the name, dude.
I'm gonna strangle you.
Super Sentai returned.
It's got a
for
lot of
Battle
spiderweb
Fever
designs
J,
on it.
which itself was loosely based on Captain America.
super robots
They
look
kept
like.
the
Oh.
idea of the team finishing off the monster of the week in a giant robot, which would stick with Super Sentai
really
for the rest
stuck.
of its existence. The 8th series, Chodenshi Biomen, introduced the idea
For
of
more
using
toys.
two smaller robots to form a bigger one. While the 11th series, Hikari Sentai Mask Man, was the first to give every member their own vehicle that would form their final mech. Super Sentai became one of the biggest series to come out of the Henshin boom period,
Oh, yeah.
and became a cornerstone of tokusatsu culture.
They uncannily
Which,
look like Battle Force
interestingly
5,
enough,
and I don't know how
the
to
four
feel about
series
that.
I mentioned as tokusatsu mainstays.
Let's be honest, Battle Force 5 was actively trying to be Power Rangers and Super Sentai. Like, if they combined into a mech, I would have not been surprised in the slightest with
You're
their
not
vehicles.
wrong. They're very Sentai coded.
Like, it's like I said, it's the color code team with a theme. I mean, hell, we're making a thing with a color code team with a theme.
Cool. I'll get back to that when I'm not feeling dead.
Each cover a different
You're not allowed to
demographic.
die.
Super Sentai and Kamen Rider
you.
were skewed for kind of the same audience, but where Super Sentai would have been for first graders, Kamen Rider was for the world-weary fifth graders. Ultraman skewed even
Yeah.
older than that, before Godzilla came in to be the one for the big boys.
Really?
15! With how much success the series saw in Japan, it was only natural for somebody to think to localize it to America.
Yep.
And noted prick Hayam Saban would be the one to do it.
Yep.
At the time in the day, this guy sucks. That's all you need to know.
He does.
He
Yep.
purchased the rights to localize Super Sentai into
Fuck that guy.
English, trying and failing to do so in 1986 with a pilot for Bioman. Saban was not the
Bioman?
only person who was trying this, though.
Really?
With Stan Lee of Marvel Comics
Oh,
attempting the same
really?
thing for years at this point, using Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan, after
Oh.
he got the rights to it back in the
Vulcan
exchange
Steep.
that let Toei make Spider-Man. Just like
Cool.
Saban, though, his pitch ended in failure.
Damn.
Though his efforts did get Fox Kids executive Margaret Lesch's attention.
Oh.
Which meant that when Hayam Saban pitched a show called Galaxy Rangers
Oh,
with
God.
the exact same idea Stan had,
I
she
hate
fought
her now.
tooth and nail with the top brass of Fox Kids
Why?
to get the show on the air.
Mostly
Her efforts
because
was-
when Stan Lee came in and did, they didn't really fight as much. But now that Saban's doing it, I
It's not about it's Saban doing it. It's about, well, last time it didn't. We passed on it, and I feel that was a mistake. I'm not
All
going
right.
to let us pass on it a second time.
I see your point. I see your point. Are you feeling okay?
No.
All right then. I'll check on you later.
Result in the making of a pilot, which got the show greenlit as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I don't
Hayam
remember them
Saban
fighting a
thanked her for
Sphinx.
this by getting her fired in 1997
Wait, what?
after he gained a majority stake in the ownership of Fox Kids. Fuck.
Wow!
Noted prick Hayam Saban.
See, here's the thing. I know him as being a prick for a lot of other reasons. This is not one of them. This just ups his
There's an
prick
entire
factor.
documentary about how much of a dick he is.
I'm not surprised in the least. I just didn't think he was even a prick to his partners. Just mainly the actors, everyone else, anyone that tried to take tokusatsu stuff. You know, usual stuff.
Kayam Saban! From there, the formula was set in stone.
Me and Kai
Five
were
teenagers
watching
with
last night.
attitude fight the evil Rita Repulsa and her monster.
They actually got a lot of merch
ending in
for
a
someone who
massive
never showed up
clash
again.
between the monster of the week and the Megazord.
Yep.
Say the word
Doing the
more
big flex.
phenomenal a few times, and you've summarized every episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Correct.
Power Rangers was half original show, half recycled footage from the Super Sentai series
Yeah, that's not
Kyoryu
surprised.
Sentai Juranger, with battle footage, Zord fights, footage with Rita on the moon,
Also some newly
and more
commissioned
taken
footage
from Juranger.
that collectively referred to
What
as
was actually
U2.
made in America.
Yeah, there were some newly, recorded footage for some stuff, honestly. And yeah, I do have the original Megazord over there. You can all thank Met for that.
I sold it to him, and I'm happy it found a good home.
Yeah, it's over there on my couch. Fully transformed and ready at all times.
Nice.
My couch is full of things. I need to find more room.
All the
How else
scenes
will
in
I crash
between.
on it?
What
my
were
God.
5 ancient warriors revived into modern times were now the 5 teenagers from Angel Grove, California. What was Bandora
Teens
the
with
Witch
attitude.
was now Rita Repulsa. Book back.
I mean,
Tuck
Rita
Back,
Repulsa is
and
actually a really
Professor
good name.
Became Squat, Babu,
It is,
and
and
Bulldog.
I've grown to
With how
kind of
much the
adore just how
characters
fucking
changed, the
screechy
plots
she
needed
is.
to change as well.
Well,
And the show
didn't
was
she become a
often-
Power Ranger later, as an actual series? And I know she does other work, she has done other work, which she's apparently a phenomenal voice actress.
I mean, I know Rita got redeemed to the Mystic Mother, but I don't think she was ever outright a Ranger. Well,
And
no, she was the
fun
Green
with
Ranger in the 2017 movie.
Oh, yeah.
Stories they could do based on what footage they had from Juranger. It has to be a Halloween episode, otherwise it will look stupid when they fight the rapping pumpkin monster. With that, though, it was undisputed that Power Rangers was one of the biggest hits.
It
of the
became
90s.
so big.
It was something nobody had
From
ever
what I
seen
know.
before.
Yeah,
As long as you
Yeah,
couldn't
it's-
point to Japan on a map.
it is
It wasn't
fundamentally a cultural
cartoon,
touchstone.
These
Yeah.
were real people. But when they morphed,
No
they
one
could
was aware
move
it
like
lasted after
cartoons.
Mighty Morphin.
Martial arts action.
Yeah.
But it
But
was so
cool
fucking
monster
impactful, it
designs
still
and
lasted
giant
30
robots.
years of people not
It would
paying
be
attention
harder
to it.
fail with all that going for it. Not just that, but for kids, it was also something different.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers wasn't exactly changing the main cast every few episodes.
I don't think I was
but
alive
it
when the
had
original came out,
serialized
but yeah.
elements. When episode 17
1994.
rolled around, and suddenly there
Yeah,
was
I
an
was not
evil
alive.
Power Ranger that didn't just get beaten at the end of the episode,
Yeah.
but actually beat up the entire team on his own, it was
This happens
exciting.
quite a
It
bit.
would take another 5 episodes before they were able to take down the Green Ranger.
Laughs and Dino Thunder
And
White.
when they did, he joined the team. Having story arcs and long-lasting consequences made the show feel big.
Yeah.
Like the series didn't set back to 0 every time the episode ended. They actually got really lucky with this
Oh, yeah.
because even though it's a trope nowadays, the 6th Ranger joining the
Also, I
ways
think
into
Zeo
the
Rangers
series
had the best
started
Yeah.
with
mech
Jew
designs in
Ranger.
general.
And by
Oh,
extension,
that's
has
how
been
they got
part of
super
Power
lucky with
Rangers
it.
for the entire time. More changes would come soon, as
Ah.
Rita was usurped by the even more evil-looking Lord Zed.
Zed.
The Rangers' Zords were destroyed and replaced with new ones.
Yeah.
Tommy lost his Green Ranger powers before coming back even stronger as the White Ranger.
Yeah.
Huge changes. Lord Zed, for being a character so iconic to a franchise that's known as the one lifted from Japan, is an entirely American invention.
Really?
Meant
I did not know
to
that.
Rita,
Having a
since they
snake.
used up all the Bandora footage.
Yeah.
Oh,
And with
that's why
Zed,
he
they
didn't
could
have a
film
snake.
whatever they want.
I did not know he was a completely original. Honestly, he looks like he'd be a Super Sentai villain.
No, not really to me. It's the giant Z's that really stop him from being a Sentai villain to me.
Oh, what are you talking about? A Sentai villain will, of course, have giant lettering on them.
Not a main villain.
I doubt that.
Regardless,
The Zords being
yeah, the other reason is Die Ranger's main villain, he was kind of a space pope.
Anyway.
So
trashed was done so they could
they couldn't use the outfit.
instead use Zord footage from Gosei Sentai Die Ranger, which is
How?
also why Tommy swapped out green for white, as he was actually using footage from Die Ranger's Kiba Ranger. This would end up happening again in Season 3, as they swapped out Die Ranger footage for Ninja
Oh yeah,
Sentai
the alien
Kaku
Rangers. So
as
weird.
now the Rangers lose their power coins and have to take on ninja powers. It gets extra messy when you know that Ranger, Die Ranger, and Kaku Ranger are not related. These three series have nothing to do with each other.
So they had to be Frankenstein
besides the fact that they
together.
were stitched together in America to make Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
That is crazy.
The next season, though, Power Rangers
Zeo
finally let them swap out to new costumes.
Stronger than
From here, the
before.
history of Power Rangers. I just got a fucking chill down there.
I do like the Megazord from here, though.
Anyway,
I love the toy because it can store
Power
all its
Rangers
helmets.
history
Yeah.
only gets more complicated. For a time, they were owned by Disney.
Yeah,
then
Dino Thunder.
Saban again, and now Hasbro, which isn't a business deal; it's assisted suicide.
Yeah.
And the show would
Correct.
move through various eras. The Zordon era would include Mighty Morphin, Zeo, In Space, and Turbo.
Yep.
Then there's the post-Zordon era, including Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue,
Yeah.
Time Force, and Wild Force.
Some of the best.
Then that overlaps with the Disney era of Ninja Storm,
So
Dino
it was on
Thunder,
Disney.
SPD, Mystic Force,
Yeah.
Operation Overdrive,
There's a
Jungle
lot
Fury,
on
and
Disney.
RPM. But then if you're splitting
I'm
hairs,
reacting to
all of
Overdrive
that
with
is
Kai,
under the
it
New
sucks.
Zealand era, when filming
the
of the
New
series
Zealand
was
era.
primarily done in different Australia.
Different
There's
Australia.
the Neo Saban era. When
I
Saban
know. I'm pretty sure no New Zealander would like to be referred to as Australian. As far as I know, but yeah.
got back control of the brand from
Samurai was
Disney,
not
which
good.
includes Samurai,
No.
Super Samurai, Megaforce,
Megaforce
Super
was terrible.
Megaforce,
Yeah,
Dino
no.
Charge, Dino
Eh,
Supercharge, Ninja
What?
Steel, and Super Ninja Steel.
Why?
The super industry was lobbying hard during this time.
Nickelodeon
As obvious.
demanded they
Once ran out of
rebrand for
creativity,
each new
they sold
season.
it off to Hasbro.
That's stupid.
And then demanded each season be about half as long as the usual Power Rangers series.
Oh my god.
Oh, and do I need to tell you things went badly? They
Oh,
sold off the
yeah.
damn suits. What's left? As
Good
for the Power
lord.
Rangers in the
That's
world
memories.
of video games,
Not
it's
much.
strange.
I'm sad I can't play anything.
Okay, so the closest parallel to the
Okay,
Power
there
Rangers-
is actually a Time Force Power Ranger game that I remember having as a kid, and I still have it. It's just that the disc is broken. But, yeah.
We should try to play it sometime via like
It's on the PS1.
Ansible or whatever it's called.
Maybe one day, if you can find one. But yeah.
Rangers in
Like I
terms
said,
of
the disc is
influence and
broken.
cultural significance is obviously the Ninja Turtles. The two
Yeah.
share
I think
a
you
lot.
overestimate how much
Like
this game
handshakes.
costs.
Where
I
can
forgot
name
they
a
were
fair
in
few
space.
popular and beloved Ninja
A lot of
Turtle
people like to
games,
forget
like
that.
Turtles in Time.
Like, let's be
Hyperstone
honest, they
Heist,
do have a lot
Black
in common
Ops
with the
6,
Power Rangers.
Tournament
What?
Fighters, Splintered Fate, and of course the game that's going to
Yeah.
get brought up a lot later, Shredder's Revenge. Comparatively, the Power Rangers kind of got the
Like,
bum
it's
end of the
the
stick.
color code team
Sure,
with the theme.
the early games like the SNES movie game and Fighting Edition are
I
pretty
didn't know there was a
universally
movie
liked,
game.
but it's a very short bright period for the Rangers.
Did you think there
From
wasn't going
then
to be a
on,
tie-in?
there are rarely
Oh,
any
God.
games made for consoles, usually being stuck to handhelds or,
Yeah.
for a while, phones. Not smartphones, we're talking Sony Ericsson.
Yeah.
The
What few
olden
games were
times.
released, I did play when I was younger.
There's that
I
good
was a
fighting
massive
game,
Rangers
but
fan when I was a
yeah.
kid. I even drew on one of my nice shirts to make myself the Crab Ranger.
What?
What has to be wrong with a child for him to willingly become the Crab Ranger? Ninja Storm
He's
on
not
PC,
wrong.
Oh, that's a lot of
Dino
them.
Thunder on GameCube, and Super Legends for PS2. These games were all fun when I was younger,
But
only
no.
when I was younger.
Yeah.
These do nothing for me now. We almost had a great modern Power Rangers game.
Yep.
Power Rangers Battle for the Grid was a fighting game released back in March of 2019 by
Had some
Enway.
really cool designs,
This was a
too.
team fighter in the vein of Marvel vs. Capcom that took Rangers from all over the series to
Which
battle it
makes
out.
sense.
Yeah, like Mighty Morphin
Almost entirely
Season
6
1,
Rangers.
Mighty Morphin Season 2, Mighty Morphin Season 3, and Shattered Grid. The Mighty Morphin section.
Oh my god.
It's a really interesting tag game.
He's not wrong.
You think of games like
But there is a lot of
MVC,
different
and
ones
the
added,
floor
though.
almost never comes up. Opponents are juggled for entire life bars and only touch ground to start it all over again.
I mean,
Battle for
it's
the Grid,
a Marvel
though,
vs.
wanted
Capcom
to
style
change
fight.
that by keeping things grounded. Air combos are rare, and even rarer are complex inputs. No quarter circles,
interesting.
charges, or double taps. It's a totally button-based fighter, and those two things make it really unique. It's approachable, fun, and
but
clearly
also
bursting
the
with
AI
love,
on easy
both for
was
2D
ugly.
fighters and Power Rangers. It didn't have the budget to afford voice acting,
Which
a
is
huge
sad.
roster, or a bunch of stages. Which meant that in one of the most saturated times for fighting games ever, it didn't matter how much love was put into the game.
Yeah.
BFTG was swept away.
It's
This didn't
sad.
stop the team, though, as they worked on the game
Quantum
for
Ranger.
years.
Hey,
Improving
Eric.
it, adding new characters, stages, Zords, voiceover,
I love him.
fine-tuning the gameplay.
He's a dick.
By the end, the game was
Like, you gotta say one thing about this game, is that there is a lot of heart and love put into this. And I
did.
adore that.
indisputably better than UMVC3. This one has 2 Virgils in it. Anyway, the publishers tried to make them do NFTs and they left the game dead. Why does this always happen?
Because
At the
publishers
Summer
are
Games
stupid.
Fest 2024, though, we were set to see the first new Rangers game since Battle for the Grid.
It's one of the reasons if we ever make those video games I've talked about before, we're never going public. What I mean by that is I don't want stockholders.
Rita's Rewind.
I don't want stalkers.
A new beat-em
Oh
up
my
in the
God.
same vein of games like Shredder's Revenge.
Okay.
With 5-player action, incredible
Wait, it was
pixel art, and
5-player?
a killer soundtrack, this was set to join what had been a
Local.
very strong showing for
Oh,
beat-em-ups. Between Shredder's Revenge, Double Dragon Gaiden, The Takeover, Jitsu Squad, and Cosmic Invasion, it was a great time to be a fan. And if that Toxic Crusaders game ever comes out, it can join the group too. This thing's been at 3 PAX Easts.
There's-
3!
Wow,
That's
really?
more than 2! It was so great to see a game like this be made.
Bones.
Until I played it. Now, I went into this
It's
game
okay.
blind. I wanted my
Get
expectations
it
to
if
just
if
be
it's on
my own.
sale.
I had heard of the developers Digital Eclipse, but to my knowledge, they had just
They
worked
needed
on
to make it
collections
online.
Like SNK 40th Anniversary and
Yeah,
the
it's only
Cowabunga
2-player online.
collection.
I hate
As
that.
for original games, Space Jam: A New Legacy? Finally, a mark of quality. The trailer, though, looked incredible.
Yeah.
This type of multiplayer beat-em-up is one that
the
the
animation
Power
looks pretty
Rangers
good.
never got, despite fitting the theming a lot better than The Simpsons. And the graphics were really
Yeah.
charming. In fact, before things start getting negative, I'll say this. The game does look extremely good.
I
The
will
colors
give it
of
that.
the game are extremely vibrant and fun. With the
Wait, I
Rangers
just realized what
themselves
those
being
birds
exactly-
were. Those are the ones from the Ivan Ooze movie.
Also from season 3, where they had to change their name from Tengu to Tenga because they didn't own the rights to the movie.
Wow. That's strange.
That's why they could never use Ivan Ooze.
I just love Ivan Ooze. He's so funny to me, especially with, boss, do you think we should take another crack at it? No, I think we should take another quack at it. Shock Smith. Now he exploded.
Unshocked.
Now you have been exploded and you are just ahead. Anyway.
As fluorescent
Go
as
Angel
needed
Grove
to
Tigers.
Stay distinct in what can become a busy screen. Enemies, both of them, also stand out for the same reasons. Being primarily blacks, whites, and desaturated colors means they're always going to stand out compared to you and the background.
True.
Trust me, the game will take its time to get its cheap shots in later.
Ooh, I
Wow,
don't like
this is
that.
the positive section and I still can't stop myself. Animations as well are fluid and cool. From the combos to
Dino
the
power.
backflips, the kicks with the cool after image effect, and the screen clearing supers all look great and impactful. The vehicle sections as well are neat, if a little repetitive with the background themes. Maybe it's an homage that the Super
Chrono Crusher?
Sentai-inspired game spends so many levels in the same
Chrono
quarry.
Crusher.
You know what?
The
I
bike
just
levels
realized what
don't
would be a
outrun
good
them,
idea.
Right.
You know what I just realized would be a good idea for this game? What would have been an amazing idea?
Fighting
If-
through 30 levels, each one's patterned after a single series.
Yes, but each one, you're basically saving the Rangers from that series.
I told you this last night, Wolfie.
I know, but you just said that one part, and I wanted to add my own little part to that, because I thought it was a cool idea. Like, I'm not saying you didn't come up with the main idea, I'm saying I just added my own little bit onto it. Because I thought that would be cool to at least see the other Rangers, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just having them go, alright! Or something like that, but yeah.
Run vibes as you speed through town and around beachside roads, through tunnels and along cliff sides. The best part of the visuals are the effects they add to everything. Explosions in this game feel massive.
No, that level was hard as
Debris
hell.
and collateral damage have an amazing weight to it that persists through the
I
whole
was not
game.
killing putties, they were just running into
Giant rock
explosions,
formations
and I was trying not to get
shooting
hit.
ships out of the sky in a Zord feels just as good as you'd hope. The time crystals that warp the screen around themselves and pulse between photo-negative and normal feel as stage warping as they're
I could feel like it could make someone nauseous.
The actual effect of rewinding and playing back the section you just played is really cute. The only graphical detail I really don't like is the character portraits. And it's not all of them, it's just the Rangers. The others are all clearly stylized and cool, and the Rangers get close to that with their proportions, but when you get to their helmets, it's clear that's the one detail the team wasn't allowed to change. Can't have the kids getting confused why their helmets aren't photorealistic.
I didn't notice this during my
Hands
playthrough.
down, though, the best part of the entire game...
I mean, yeah, they should have made them a bit more stylized. Not like that horrible movie we're not going to talk about.
You know, Kai actually likes it.
Listen, we'll put him on trial on Guilty as Sock later.
The music. Sean Bilo needs to be in the discussion of incredible modern game composers next to T. Lopes and Jake Kaufman.
I don't know who
Dude's
those
track
are.
record is gold. Double Dragon Gaiden, Penny's Big Breakaway, Sparks the Electric Jester 3. Guy's been going crazy for a while now, and this game is no exception. I love the integration of the Power Rangers motif snuck into a bunch of songs in the game.
Oh,
It doesn't feel like it's just
it is a very
relying
good
on
music.
that one song like the series has been since Samurai.
Yeah.
The songs themselves are absolutely killer. With
Oh,
or
I
without
just thought of
any
another
homage.
good idea.
From the main
You could have had similar, when you're going through those stages, you could have had similar themes from all the other Power Ranger series. That's an idea.
theme to the stage music, even the training level.
Like
has a
hell, the
great
putties
song
could have
go
changed to
along
the
with
other
it.
putties.
Any one of these songs could hang with the best tracks from its contemporaries, like Shredder's
Alpha 5
Revenge
looks so
or
weird
Skyrim
like this.
versus the
And so does Zordon.
And I love those games' soundtracks to death. The first level theme in this game is one of the best beat-em-up songs I've ever heard. Whatever I have to say about the game itself, Sean knocked it out of the park and then somehow caught it outside the stadium in the parking lot in one swing. Okay, what else is
We're
there?
moving on to the bad section, my friend.
The intro is well animated, though kind of misleading. I mean, the Rangers never moved that fast. We'd be lucky if they ever actually hit the putties. It's ambitious.
Oh man,
It tries
fuck
out a
this
few
part.
different gameplay styles.
This
and
looks like
it's-
a shooter you would find in an
it's
arcade.
trying. It
It
captures
really
the
felt
spirit
like
of
it,
old
which
school
like Barrett was in the
beat-em-ups
carnival, but
and won't
I could never bring down the putties faster
Okay,
than they
so
were
Rita's
throwing
Rewind's
shit at me.
parents just left the room. It's time to get to bullying.
Alright.
I think this game is a fish out of water, a man out of time. It wants to be the Power Rangers beat-em-up from the 90s that never was. And
Yeah.
if it was, it would be fantastic. Unfortunately, though, this isn't the 90s. Hasn't been for a while. So to release a game
Hasn't
like
been
this
for a
with so
while.
little going on in the middle of a boom period for the genre is going to turn heads.
Yeah.
First off, the story. There is no story.
What?
Okay, so not a unique problem. Most beat-em-ups throw out the story in order to fit in more punching. But it feels worse here because they actually give you something to be excited over. The story's all about this Robo-Rita traveling back in time to team up with her younger self to take on the Power Rangers. I was a little thrown off by Robo-Rita at first, but I found out she's actually been a thing in Power Rangers
I
for a while
don't
now.
remember this.
Since they messed up and made their most iconic
She's
bad
from the
guy
30th
the only
anniversary.
character with a visible face.
What'd you say?
Giving her a
She's from the 30th anniversary special.
Oh, okay.
Rita's evil inadvertently possesses and warps the Alpha 9, who is effectively just dead now, while Billy was attempting to resurrect Zordon. Upon discovering, oh, he might still be alive in the grid. Yeah. So's Rita's evil.
That's not good.
And then she
Robot
killed
mask
Trini.
means they can swap out the actors and just keep the voice, which I guess is a clever workaround. Sounds basic, but time travel is a really fun idea to work with. It works wonders for giving you unique locations,
For a video game
enemies,
at the very
and set
least.
pieces. Need inspiration? How about the most beloved beat-em-up of all time?
Turtles in
Having
Time.
the Dinozords run through an actual Jurassic wildland, or flying the Megazord through space in the future,
Yeah.
visiting the Old West and giving
I don't think
putties,
Megazords
cowboy
fly.
hats, and pop guns,
I
or
don't
medieval
think they can
times
either.
in suits of armor, you're at no loss for cool ideas. And yet they're still lost. The theming isn't used at all. Enemies don't
sucks.
change, backgrounds don't either.
Like, you could
It
just give
feels
them
worse
cowboy
than a game
hats
like
and have
Shredder's
them be
Revenge
fun.
lacking a story, since that one was just the turtles fight
That
the
was an
Shredder.
episode.
This one gives you a hook and then does nothing with it. You
Hmm.
don't even get to fight both Ritas at the same time at the end.
That
Why have
sucks.
two Ritas if you're not going to fight them both? The only time the time travel
Yeah,
gimmick
you don't
comes
even
up
fight
is
regular
with
Rita.
these time crystals
That
that show up every
sucks.
once in a while and are more
What the
annoying
hell?
than anything. Either break them in a certain amount of time, or they'll rewind
Like I
time
said,
to the
this
start
game
of the
needed
section
about
you're
15
on.
more levels.
The first time it happens, it's cute. Second time it happens, I'm
It's
already
annoying.
over this.
Yeah.
The time it takes for the crystal to crack is always 2 hits before you actually destroy it. So unless you pop a special move, you're starting the section over again. What's weird, though, is that if you do pop a special, that rewinds too, and you get to use it again. What the hell is the point of these things?
Yeah, what?
I feel like they're supposed to be the trigger to end a wave of enemies, but because they set you back to the start of an encounter, it does the opposite, and creates a horrible feeling loop where you beat a bunch of bad guys, fail to break the crystal, and have to beat them all again. It's even worse in the vehicle sections where
Wait,
you're
there's
dodging
vehicle
loads of
sections with
stuff
the
while trying
crystals?
to break them, and either get
I didn't
blindsided
have
and
an
die,
issue with
or
it.
have to keep looping
Like,
until you get to a calm stretch of road.
I like the
For
man,
being the only rewind in Rita's
I
Rewind,
feel
it's
he's-
handled really.
not the best judge of difficulty.
We have our own idea of difficulty, honestly. We all have different strengths
He
and
tried to
weaknesses.
claim, he tried to claim, what's that one game that I'd normally stream on July 4th?
Bro.
Metal Wolf Chaos. He tried to claim Metal Wolf Chaos was hard.
Like, the only level I'm having trouble with for Metal Wolf Chaos is the one where the thing's slowly moving forward and you have to destroy all bits of it.
Yeah.
Where it's all like you're trying to defend the helicopter.
I know the one you're talking about.
poorly.
Yeah, that's the
Speaking
hard
of the
one.
story, actually,
Everything else, no,
what
it's
we're
not
all here
hard.
to talk about, I know. I know Power Rangers has a nostalgia problem, but I think it's getting worse. I've
Oh.
accepted, just like I did with the Ninja Turtles, that the version I grew up with is not the first one. And
Yeah.
based on being the first one, that one's always going to get preferential treatment. It's
Yeah.
going to sell more copies for nostalgia's sake. I'm fine with it. But maybe we're taking it a little too far when we start only covering the first 22 episodes of the series. Only
Yeah.
one element of this game is from
Yeah.
past the ending of the Green with Evil arc. And it's fucking turkey jerk.
What?
All of the bosses and levels are taken from only the
Yeah.
first 22 episodes of the
Wow.
series. We're lucky the Green Ranger got in under the gun. They bumped Lord Zed back to post-credit teaser. I get it. The Solar Ranger isn't a draw. Whatever.
I mean, the Solar
But
Ranger's
come on,
cool.
you can't even spare till the end of season
I'd go to a
1.
party with that
I
guy.
wish that was the only shallow element of the
That girl's
game,
awesome.
but it only gets worse
Yeah.
from here.
Even if he has
At
a
the
weird
start of the
train
game,
sword
you
of all
pick your
things.
favorite color of the lineup.
The weird train
And
sword's the
because
best
I have
part.
a complex,
It's the
I
party
needed to
train.
be the Red Ranger.
Yeah,
Anyway,
of course,
I
the Red
wish I was
Ranger.
joking when I said you were just picking your favorite color, but that's really as deep as the choice goes.
Oh, that
5
sucks.
characters, 6 when you beat the game.
Something he leaves out,
They
you can
all
upgrade
play
your
the exact
stats.
same.
Oh.
Hope you're not tired of the phrase of the day yet. In Shredder's Revenge, you got a better variety of character choices.
But
and
yeah,
each
no,
one of them felt
all of them
impactful.
play the exact same.
Donnie's bow staff
I
can
hate
just
that.
give him
Pretty-
better reach. His reach is insane.
They only pull
Mikey
their
can
weapons
zip
for
all around
brief
the
moments of
screen
their
and is
combos,
faster than
or
anybody
their
else.
uppercut.
Raph demolishes ninjas like they're nothing, and Leo is the midpoint between them all. Throw
That
in the
makes sense.
specialized characters like April,
Casey.
Splinter, and Casey, and you
Fuck
can
yeah,
play the
Casey
arcade
Jones.
mode over and over and over and get a different experience each time because they took the time to make each character play differently. Even the basic commands across different characters have different properties. Like Leo's dash attack doesn't budge a character, but Casey's does. Because
Nice.
Leo is meant more for comboing, whereas Casey is meant more for crowd control. Here, black is as red is as yellow. Deutschland. You couldn't make Zack the heavy hitter, Billy a combo machine, Trini the speedster,
Man, that
Kimberly the
part sucks.
ranged
Like,
ranger,
you
and
honestly
Jason
could've.
the all-arounder. Instead, the only difference
I
between the
cannot handle two
characters
heavy
is what
buddies.
weapon flashes on the screen for a few seconds when they end a combo, and what their special move looks like. That's right, special move.
There's
As
only
in
one?
Here's that phrase again.
I hate
in
this
Shredder's
so
Revenge, they
much.
gave every character
If you can get
3
this game for
special
like
moves.
20 bucks,
Standing,
I'd say go for
aerial, and
do
dodge
not pay
specials.
full price.
They all follow
Yeah, no.
similar templates, with aerials usually slamming down on multiple enemies, or standing supers being a big AoE attack, but they could each have unique properties. Some characters like Donnie and Casey have standing specials that have a vortex effect that pulls in multiple enemies.
Yep, I remember
Miyamoto
this.
and Raph have dodge specials that target only one enemy but do massive damage. They made each character feel unique, if only
Yeah.
slightly. Here, though, you only get one, and it's a screen nuke. Not nearly as fun to play with as the specials in Double Dragon Gaiden or Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, they look
Unfortunately,
different, but
that
they're all
lack
the
of
same.
excitement extends to the minute-to-minute gameplay as well.
Oh,
It's a single-button
Oh,
game, like a
God.
lot of other beat-em-ups, a lot that I like too. So, if that's not the source of the problem, why does this one feel worse than all the other ones? I played through arcade mode a few times trying to figure out what was missing until it clicked that nothing clicked. So you
There's
have
no
your basic
synergy?
5-hit combo. A dash attack, a dodge
Oh.
that can become a kick, a launcher, a dive kick, and
You
a
have
ground
very
stab. Sounds like a
basic
hefty move
moveset.
list, but there's
It
a
feels like it's
connective
gonna need
tissue
more
missing
then.
between all of it. Your combo is a static 5 hits that doesn't flow
Nowadays,
into
you
any
need
of your
more than
other
just
options
basic
well at all.
combos.
Trying to go into a launcher or a dash attack won't work since combos have these massive dead zones where the only input it registers is the next hit. Double Dragon Gaiden is really good for making combos feel like they flow seamlessly between all your options, and letting
That's
you use
cool.
everything you have
I
to
didn't know
rack
this
up a huge
existed.
combo. Something Rita's Rewind doesn't do at all. You have a launcher, but nothing to do in the air. A launcher in a beat-em-up should serve one of two purposes, either letting you do an air combo or using it as a get-off-me tool.
Yeah.
Something to split aggro and make it so I can deal with enemies all around me. The launcher in this game launches you too, though, which means it accomplishes nothing. Not like you'll
Oh.
ever use it, it's mapped to attack and up on the control stick, but it's a finicky up. You have to push directly up to get it to work, which kinda ties in with how unresponsive the rest of the controls are.
This just
Double
feels
tapping the control stick to
bad.
dash should feel simple, but I swear to God it doesn't work half the time. When I think a dash attack would help out, or I just want to get across the screen fast, it's a crapshoot on whether or not the game will understand what I'm trying to do. The biggest problem with all of it is that the main combo that you're using is so stiff and uncustomizable that it doesn't feel fun to use. That's all I'm
Oh.
allowed to do in the game, and it's not fun. The only thing unique to this game is a move they don't even tell you about in the tutorial.
A grab?
Pressing attack and the special move button at the same time
Yeah.
lets you do a breakaway
Oh.
attack that does extra
Oh.
damage and knocks back everything around you.
Oh,
I didn't know
Cost
about
of a
this.
little bit of health.
interesting.
This is the game's
Never
best
needed it.
idea as far as combat goes. It's simple, but it makes for interesting choices when you get crowded. Do you try and escape and risk extra damage, or do you eat a set amount and get away for sure? Props
That's
where
always
it's due.
nice.
I like that. That just makes it all the more frustrating, though, that it's the only interesting idea in the whole game. The best beat-em-ups have this sort of simple combat, but throw in something unique to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
In Gaiden, it was the tag team system. Jitsu Squad has parrying.
I don't know
Midnight
this
Fight
game.
Express has Arkham-style combat.
Oh.
Shredder's Revenge might be basic, but it fine-tuned itself to the point of being the
Yeah,
best
all
of
the
basic
levels are
beat-em-up can
fun.
feel. And even that has way more bells and whistles than Rewind does. Enemy variety doesn't help too much, since
Usual
if we're
putties.
counting like an asshole, there are only 3 enemies in the game. Putties, Super Putties, and the Tengu Warriors. Now, these putties do come in multiple variants, like the ninjas from Shredder's Revenge, and there's a good variety.
But even the
Older
ninjas
hand
from
guys
Shredder
who
Revenge,
block
we
your
get like
attack and need you to dodge
pterodons,
behind them.
we
Knife
get
hand
other
guys
things.
who will charge at you. They're basic,
We get
but they work.
robots.
The thing is,
the
the game gets a
Rockmen.
real sick kick out of throwing things at you from off-screen. Putties holding bombs, barrels, or the knife hand ones will usually come from off-screen.
Oh,
and
I hate that.
Since the combo is so inflexible, and you're usually going to be fighting an enemy, they get a free hit on you. The Tengu Warriors don't get updated nearly as much as the putties do. They don't get fun costumes in the circus level or football field level, and they never change how they
always have
attack.
pros.
They just fly up, try to dive bomb you, or fire out feathers.
You could have a
These
little bit
guys
more
really
fun
make
with
it
them.
feel like air combat was intended to be included, or at least the options you have now.
Yeah,
were
if
to
they
be
just hang up in the
expanded.
air, that's kind of
You
annoying.
have 2 basic enemies. One
not
of them
always.
flies almost all the time, and all you give us is a dive kick and a ground stab.
It's like 50-50.
Tengu Warriors are generally much more
Still,
annoying to
dude.
deal with. They're only ever going to hit you when you're distracted. The Super Putties are fine as well, except for this
Yeah,
super
no, the
fast
Tengus are the
hit they
reason you
get
have
if
an
you wail
uppercut.
on them for too long. It's so fast and unpredictable that you have to awkwardly cut combos short or have future vision to see it coming. At the end of a stage, you'll get
Or
a
you
grade
could
depending on a few things,
block.
like combo length, how fast you beat
There's
the
no block,
stage,
like throw
and a
3
few
punches,
stage-specific
dodge to
objectives.
the other side of them,
Not
throw 3
dying or
punches,
finding
That sounds
secrets on
annoying.
dodge
the
to the other
stage.
side of it.
This is one of the things the game does best, and that's appeal to longtime Mighty Morphin fans. You get props from episodes, get to
Oh.
save characters from the show. Between this and the Easter eggs in the background, like
Yeah, that's a
graffiti,
Street Fighter
it's a really
Easter
cute
egg.
addition. Seeing the 4 turtles playing
Oh, it
in
was Final
Toxic
Fight.
Waste. I mean, I wouldn't remind me of Shredder's Revenge right now, but it's still cute.
It's still
You
nice.
also gain experience based on your score, which can be converted into upgrades for your strength,
Oh, wait, he did
defense,
mention it.
and speed. Believe it or not,
I
there's
missed
something
that.
kind of like this in Shredder's Revenge and Double Dragon Gaiden too, which
Really?
let
So
you
they had to patch
upgrade
that
either
in.
when you beat enough
Yeah, I don't
enemies
remember
or
that
spend
in,
enough money. An upgrade
Turtles.
to a special move in Double Dragon
No,
Gaiden
I mean in-
takes a move that
in
was
Rita.
good at dealing
Oh.
damage and makes you tear through
Wow.
people. Same with Shredder's Revenge. Rewind, though. These are worthless. These upgrades don't do a thing. You hit the same on level 15 as you do on level 1. Upgrading defenses changes the amount of
Bullshit, you
health
do.
you
What
have,
game are
but
you
doesn't
playing?
change the actual graphic. So those ticks of health don't represent your actual life total. Upgrades also bottom out way too fast. I was fully upgraded by level 5, and that was only a
certainly
third
noticed
into
the
the
difference
game.
in my hitting power.
The boss fights, they're fine. Most of them have a cool idea, and they usually do them pretty well.
That's at
Chunky
least a good
Chicken
thing.
and Turkey Jerk being a tag team fight was pretty neat.
Would've preferred more.
Especially since it's a subtle
Well,
reference
everyone
to the
would
fact
prefer
the
more
Turkey
from
Jerk
this.
costume is just a repainted Chunky Chicken.
Like, what they could have done
Seeing
for
how they
this
mixed their
is
powers
imagine
together
that
was
all
pretty-
the bosses are just different, like, super bosses from different Power Ranger series. Like, the one from Time Force just suddenly being here like, huh? Oh, I get to kill another group of Power Rangers.
If we threw Rancic up against the Mighty Morphin crew, they'd be dead.
Maybe. But it'd still be a
We're
fun
not throwing
fight.
Rancic. Frax, maybe. They could probably take Frax in a fight.
You know what I mean, though? That would be cool.
Pretty cool, with Chunky Chicken running through portals over and over again to gain speed as Turkey Jerk keeps you grounded. Although, we had a solo fight against Chunky Chicken, but not Turkey Jerk.
Weird.
Guys, I think we forgot a fight. You'd think that Bones was like the main villain for how much he gets. A
He
3-phase
didn't even
fight in
grow.
a unique stage,
Oh.
following a pretty fun gimmick section on a roller coaster. His fight might be long, but it's definitely one of the game's best. Fights like Madam Web, though, are where the game is at its worst. Every
Madam
teleport
Web?
leads to a grab. Aggressive play is
Oh.
punished with a freeze. I spent more time not fighting the boss than I did fighting it.
I mean,
the fight with Tommy as the Green Ranger was cool
not
for
wrong.
what felt like a versus
I
mode
feel he's
in a beat 'em up.
over-exaggerating the
And
graph.
stage
That only
gimmick of
happened
the
like
Dragon Zord
twice.
firing at you from
Still.
the background was really neat. Speaking of Zords, the game does attempt to inject some life into itself with different sections where you either ride a bike or pilot a Zord, as well as boss
Worth noting,
fights for those sections
Pterodactyl
where you pilot
just
the
fucking
Mega
Oh, wow,
flies in
I-
these sections.
If I had to make
I
a
will say
direct
I love that
comparison,
animation
I'd
they
say
did right
Space
there. That
Harrier
was
is a
some
pretty
good, like, old-style crunchy animation. I'll go back real quick.
Oh yeah, no, this game's great at looking crunchy.
It does it
as
in all the
well as
right
boss
ways,
fights
but
for those
goddamn, I wish
sections
the
where you
gameplay was
pilot
more.
the Megazord. If I had to make a direct comparison, I'd say Space Harrier is a pretty one-for-one reference. The sections in the Zords are auto-runners, where you have to blast at enemies flying towards you, and destructible environments with collectibles for you to find. These sections were fine enough. I thought it was a cool change of pace. It's very distinctive gameplay and graphics-wise.
I think they're the best
and
part
there
of
was
the
a
game.
nice balancing point between
That's
challenging
kind
and
of sad,
fair.
but
I think
kind
the
of
health
cool.
drops during these sections were
No, they're pretty
needlessly
fun.
stingy, which made a no difference.
No, I mean
don't
over-
think
harder
game
than
of-
it needed to be.
Of
but I
entirely
still
this,
cleared it
but
with
I mean in a sense of this is the best part of the game, which means since it's such a big game, you know what I mean.
it's only 15 levels, dude.
no problems.
I
Bike
didn't know it was
sections
only
were a
15,
lot
but yeah.
more dicey, since I feel like a lot more instant kills can happen here. They can in the Zord sections, but that's from falling down pits. I think in levels
Yeah.
like this, just hitting a car is enough to kill you. I can't say I liked these
I
ones
only
as
know
much
the
as
landmine's
Zords
doing it,
or
and
the
only in
beat-em-up
that one
sections, but
level.
they're
I will say one thing though, right there a moment ago, there was so much shit on the screen that I couldn't tell what was going on.
He's shooting a Chrono Crusher, dude.
passable. The Megazord sections, though, are my least favorite of the four, because it's just not executed the best. Now, for as obvious as it might seem, these sections are actually based on the classic
Punch
arcade
Out.
boxing game that had the endorsement of former WBC heavyweight champion, you guessed it,
Punch
Frank
Out.
Bruno's Boxing. Oh, guys, look out, I think that might be an infarction.
Then
I
why
don't
aren't
think
we
you're
doing
allowed
it
to do
like
that
we're
in boxing.
third person?
It doesn't have any of the nuance you'd expect from this sort of
Yeah.
game. Where those are
I've never had a
boxing
good
puzzle
Megazord
games,
section in any of
this
the
is
games
more
I've
of a
played.
bum rush as you try to get
Unfortunately.
into the enemy's face and cave their head in.
Lightspeed didn't
Sounds
pull
like
this off
fun,
much better, to be honest.
really isn't.
I don't remember the game
It's
much,
stupid
I'll be
easy to
honest.
bait your opponent into jumping at you, which, with a few moves
Third-person
forward,
beat 'em
loses
up,
them a third of their health
And the
bar.
Megazord section is
If
the
you're
same,
not doing
but
that, then you're
clunkier.
waiting out a lengthy section of dodging fireballs, where you're not allowed to get hit, or you'll be sent back to the starting point.
It never shot
It's
missiles
either
at me
all
the 3
gas
times
or
I've
all
fought this
breaks
thing.
with these
That's
sections,
insane.
and it's boring.
So they're random.
So
Especially
you
when
usually
every
just
fight
walked
like
right
this
up
is
to my
the same.
punches and got
It
his
doesn't
ass
vary
kicked and never
itself
got a
between
shot
the
off.
encounters,
or
which
even
That
feels
sounds
like
like a
being caught in
glitch.
a rut. It wasn't difficult, it was boring, and that goes for a lot of the game. In fact, when I looked to see what other people's problems with the game were, top of the list were that people found it too difficult. Now, I did play this on
What?
normal, and maybe I'm just f***ing nice with it, but this makes
No,
no
this
sense.
game's
This game was
easy.
easy as hell.
Yeah,
I
I'm
struggled
wondering
maybe
what's going
twice in
on.
the whole game, but never
is one of the
spent
few
more
things I
than a
disagree
life
with
on
on.
any level.
This game's
I never even
easy.
used to continue.
Yeah, I will
I
I
know
don't
say
see that as a
audience for
deal
this-
breaker, but
it's not exactly
I
a
need more
deal breaker
content.
depending on the time. Yeah, here's the thing. This game doesn't seem hard, it seems annoying. Like, where you have an enemy that's... The enemies are just annoying. They're not hard to deal with, they're just annoying difficulty. If you
it's
get my
the blue
meaning.
putties I hate.
You get my meaning though, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
This game would be casual, but god damn, guys, this is not a hard game. I know the game got a massive quality of life update that changed a bunch of stuff about it, like character speeds and the difficulties, but even then, this is no harder than Shredder's Revenge. Maybe I've been unfair
I had a
drawing
lot
so
of fun
much
with Shredder's
comparison
Revenge.
between this game and specifically Shredder's Revenge, just because they're both retro multiplayer beat-em-ups. But see, that's the problem. They're both retro multiplayer beat-em-ups, which means they're competitors. It's like
Yeah.
comparing toothpaste brands. You should know which one gives you more value. And in that department, Rita's Rewind gets embarrassed. Not only does Turtles have more levels with a boss encounter at the end of every single one, it has more characters, more options, more going on in general. And that's just base roster. Add on the DLC and you get 4 additional characters.
Oh, yeah,
a
there
brand
was
new
DLC.
survival mode, alternate colors pulling from
Usagi.
every corner of the franchise. Meanwhile,
cool, he was
Digital
there.
Eclipse is confirming there are no plans for DLC, period. The thing that makes this comparison necessary is the price tag. Shredder's Revenge and Rita's
Was it like-
Rewind both cost $35.
Yeah.
If you get all the DLC for Shredder's Revenge at once. Yeah, base game Shredder's Revenge is only
who is
$25.
Mondo Gecko?
And if you get the Ultimate Edition, which will give you all of the DLC
Radical,
at
that's who
once,
he is.
it's actually $3 cheaper than Rita's Rewind. A 2-hour-long game where I spent more time alt-tabbed out making dinner than I did playing the game. It comes down to this. If you're looking for
It's
a
not a
retro
long game.
beat-em-up with online play to play with your friends based on a property with color-coded heroes that was popular in the 90s...
Like, there's so much you
Shredder's
could
Revenge
compare
wins
here.
in every way, every single time. Rita's Rewind is the worst type of retro throwback. The type that uses the tag of retro throwback as an excuse to not improve on decades-old games. There is nothing in Rita's
There is
Rewind
always
that
something to
warrants the
improve.
$10 price increase over Shredder's Revenge. If you hate the turtles, Double Dragon Gaiden costs the same as
I don't
base
know
game
anyone
Shredder's
who would hate the
Revenge and has gotten
turtles.
5 post-launch free DLC characters and new
I can think of a
modes,
couple people.
including an honest-to-God versus mode. For even
One of them
less,
wears
you can
armor.
grab Jitsu Squad or Rotwood
God.
or
The other doesn't
Midnight
have
Fight
legs.
Express. Heck, you can even try out some beat-em-ups for free. Absalom is available in demo form right now.
Oh,
Same
cool.
with Disco is Dead. That game's really turning heads. I don't even know what the hell Ego is supposed to be, but it looks really cool. Try that one too. What I'm trying to say is that beat-em-ups are in such a good place right now and trying so many unique things that we don't have to settle for stuff that's simply sending up to what's already been done. And in some cases, doing it worse. The space is so crowded, we don't need to include games that are just coasting by on what feels old and tired. I don't blame Digital Eclipse. Obviously, they were trying as hard as they could. Heck, if blaming Hasbro is ever an option, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
But the game is
It
a
is.
mess.
I never actually played the Super Quants, but I kind of want to.
Alright, now do this again, but with the
They're not good, but
frickin',
they're fun.
stone protectors.
What the hell are the stone protectors?
I don't fucking know.
Anyway, did you have fun with the video? I had fun with that, but I'm a little
I
sad
had
that
fun with the video. I disagree with him heavily, but I had a decent enough time.
I'll say this, I'm sad that the game isn't better, because it has a lot more potential than I think some people
I'd
realize.
like to see a sequel because I feel like, there's a lot more that could be done here.
The Power Rangers can be a lot of fun with games. I feel like people don't take advantage as much of tokusatsu as video game form as they should in general. But that's
I
just...
think one of the main Kamen Rider games still going is a gotcha.
Anyway,
There was a Skylanders like at one point.
I'm not surprised by that. Thank you all so much for coming by. If you want more of this, like, comment, subscribe. And if this gets up to 500 views, we'll do another one. You know what? If this gets up to 500, we'll do the Pokemon one. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.